We want to welcome you back to Trauma Unfiltered podcast with Amber in January.
Hey.
And today we decided to have a guest. We are going to have more guests. We're really wanting this to be more about other people's stories, about getting their message, their voice, and their courage out there. So I'm going to have Amber read off her bio and introduce her, and welcome Chante.
Thanks.
Yeah, if you guys don't know Chante, you're about to now, and you're welcome. This is Chante Colvin Myers. We love her tremendously. Her work is imperative. Let me just read you her bio. My name is Chante Colvin Myers. My journey has been shaped by both professional dedication and personal purpose. I hold a degree of certification as substance use disorder counselor and am currently continuing my education in social work program. My work is deeply rooted in compassion, integrity, and a belief in the power of human resilience. As a survivor advocate, I hold sacred space for others to share their stories and find strength in their voices. I believe that every individual's experience matters. And through advocacy and connection, we can bring healing and awareness to the struggles that too often remain hidden. Beyond my professional path, I find joy and grounding in my personal life. I love spending time with my family and children who inspire me daily and remind me of what truly matters. Traveling and exploring the world also fill me with great energy and perspective, allowing me to see life through different lenses and appreciate the beauty of connection across cultures. At the heart of who I am is a commitment to growth, authenticity, and creating spaces where others feel seen, valued, and empowered to share their truth. I couldn't think of anyone better to have as our first guest because as advocates, we know what this fight looks like. So, and I'm just going to let her tell you because the story is so important. Chante, tell us, girl. What have you been getting into? Tell the details. Like, what does a 24-hour period look like for you right now?
Okay, well, it depends on the day of the week, but typically.
Right.
So I work at an outpatient facility in St. George. I do love my work. I love the people I get to work with. I love the environment. I love outpatient facility because like I get to see people like grow in the real world and not like, let's say residential where they're like in this bubble and like they don't have the opportunity to kind of grow their life. It's more like just like this protective bubble. So I enjoy that aspect, although like substance use is really hard for me right now. It's just really hard. I think this is really what I've been going through. Like I think that like
Give it to me.
the terms, and this is something I've been struggling with for a couple years now, but like terming or like labeling someone like an addict, for example. Like I know that works for a lot of people, it worked for me for a time, for sure. But like I've seen people get better. I've seen people change drastically. I've changed drastically. And I want to be able to encourage people to do the same. And like the field of like substance abuse treatment is not always targeted that way. It's more like you're sick, you're never getting better. You know what I mean? Like you're going to have to live with this forever. And so you just have to like live with that and accommodate for that and things like that. And I don't know if I believe that anymore. I don't know if I believe that a person can experience like a person can experience like being addicted. Yeah, destroying their lives, all those different things. But I think people get better. I think people get better and like, yeah, it's just really hard. I believe in abstinence in the beginning. I do. But as a person that like I've been doing this for quite a while now, like I struggle with that. I struggle with the labeling and the terms and the phrases. And for me personally, um, saying that I'm an addict, like it doesn't fit for me anymore. It just doesn't fit for me anymore. Um, yeah, but a typical day in, oh my God, I just went off on that. I was like, typical day in life.
No, wait. This is important because let me just give you an example of why it's important because that is it. This is real. Tiffany Jaramillo, right? We lost her. She was a dear friend to me. She overdosed coming out of prison, but it was she was in like a sober living, right? She had a surgery, and everybody around her was like,
Mm,
no opiates, no opiates, no opiates. Had a full-blown surgery. Mind you, she had already just had another baby while behind bars. And she tried it, went home, no opiates, and couldn't last the night, relapsed, overdosed, and died.
yeah.
So, I mean, there I there's so many stigmas attached to the addiction thing, and I think this is super complex. But yeah, no, please tell me, because you are fucking superwoman. So do tell us, what does 24 hours look
Yeah.
like for you on a weekday?
Let's see. I typically work 10-hour days. I'm really blessed that I don't have to work Fridays. So I
Yeah.
work the longer hours for 4 days a week. Yeah, I still love the work I do, individuals, group treatment, those kind of things. And then most of the time I do homework when I get home. Maybe I'll cook dinner, but on the weekends, like I really love spending time with my husband, my friends, my family. We travel every month to make sure we see our kids, our family, and my dog. I love my dog. I wish I could quit everything and be a stay-at-home dog mom.
That would be great. I know. I
Yeah.
am. I actually work from home with my dogs, and they can be a lot. They can be a
Oh,
lot. Like
oh
there's
my
not enough space away from them a lot. So they're obsessed with me.
Oh, I love that.
They're obsessed with me. So obviously you're not on here because you're just some like personal advocate in the world, right? Like you have a story, right? Like that. And I think that story needs to come out somehow. And it's great that you are seeing your path in that you've had to travel different paths to get to the place you are right now in recovery, regardless if that's not, you don't support the stigma, the labels, the doubting, the judgment that we can gather here in the programs of recovery, all programs. Like it's not like one is better than the other. Like all of them have their fucking bullshit. They're like straight up. Um and it works for some people, right? That's great. But to be obviously you have a story and obviously it has addiction in it, right? Like there was a time in your life that you couldn't stop using, right? And whatever. I mean, the words are a little lighter now. I love the old school words. I love the junkie. I love you know what I mean? It gives me character. It gives me the like I fucking fought something. Like now you're like, oh, you just misused some drugs. Not really. Like I really didn't misuse those. I fucking went in hard as a paint. You know what I mean? So I struggle on the other side, right? Like I come from like an old school recovery and all this new age gentle parenting bullshit is just not who I am. And so um I, what in that time in your life, regardless if it was really dark or if it just like started off really light and then got really dark, coming to a place that you remember, like, I don't know how I'm going to get out of this, right? Like, where did that come? Like, where do you think you stepped over some things in your life that you would have been like, you had no idea who that woman was anymore?
Okay, so I'm glad that you were like at the very end, the way that you worded that, like that really resonates with me, right? Like I, the person that I was for those, let's say 18 years, like I can't, like it's really, I know her, like obviously, like I've been her, like I am her. Um, but yeah, it's really challenging. Like when I look back at it, I think the stem of it is like nobody fucking taught me how to cope. Nobody taught me. I did not know how to cope. And that is the root of my whole entire history with addiction is like I didn't know how. And even if I did know how, I probably wasn't willing at that time.
Mm,
Um, I used substances since I was 15 years old, you know. I came from a very dysfunctional family. Um, and we were stuffers, or my family were stuffers. Like, we've got all these secrets, even still. It's like no one ever talked about anything, nothing genuine, and people talked about each other. And there was this, and so to me, it was like, yeah, I don't talk about what's really going on with me, or like my mother's never going to talk to me about what's really going on with her. And I met my son's dad when I was really young, like I was 15, and he came from a very like a home that was filled with violence and drug addiction and different things like that. And when I met Paul, like I loved him. I loved him with everything that I had, and I wanted to know like what that lifestyle was like. It was really intriguing to me. So I did that. I used, and for the longest time it felt like just almost like socially, because I was very curious and I just wanted to fit in and all those different things. But I think when I had my son, I had my son when I was 22, but I got pregnant with him when I was 21.
Okay.
Right before that, like my real dad, he was killed in a drunk driving accident. He was also intoxicated, right? So like it wasn't like something had happened to him, or someone did something to him, right? He was the one that was intoxicated, and that fucking broke me. That
Oh
broke
yeah.
me. I was a daddy's girl. Like I didn't know how to cope with that. No one even tried to help me through that except for what they could. My family was just like, holy fuck, like she's not talking for 6 weeks. Why won't she say anything? And after that, I got pregnant, had my son. Um, I did not anticipate like what it would be like to have a C-section and have your child ripped out of you that way. I didn't anticipate that. And the lack of like connection that I felt in that moment, like something was being ripped from me, had to be, right? Like I can't have children any other way. Um, and none of the pain medication worked that they sent me home with. Like none of it worked. And so I looked for medications on the streets, right? And that was heroin. That was
Right.
heroin for me. Um,
How do you think you got from that point with your son's dad to like the violence and the exploitation and the um really dark and like very homeless on the streets of Salt Lake? Like there has to be this like I think sometimes even as women or like coming from severe trauma, or even some of us that come from exploitation or even trafficking, are to this point where there was like this line that we didn't even see, and somehow or another we were way past it by the time we could fucking breathe. You know
right,
what I mean? It was like, and a lot of those words were not words that we used when we were out there, right? Like that was part of the game, right? Exchange, give, take, I owe you, I'm desperate, I'll do whatever, I'm scared. Like all of those things come into play with that, right? Like it is very easy. And then it's very easy to start normalizing it, right? Once you start doing something once, twice, like the third, fourth time, like it's almost like it's that line, right? Even though maybe at the end of the night or the next morning, whatever that is, even feeling sore, like all that weird shit, or waking up fucking black and blue all over, whatever it is, like that one thought is like, I might hate myself, I have some shame, but it was like, oh, I can just get high and just roll on through the day. We're gonna start all over again as long as I get that dope, right? Or whatever the substance or whatever it was, or maybe that person tell you that they're sorry, right? Like that's almost like dope for us too in those times, right? If somebody tells us that they didn't mean to hurt us and they love me and I'm so sorry, I'll never do that again, that's almost like the dopamine, right? Because
right.
that's what we really want. So what do you think that happened from that point after having your son to that part of your story?
So, when our when I had my son, he was 3 years old when Paul was shot and killed. So I experienced violence throughout that relationship with his father, and I left, and Paul was murdered. He was killed. And Ross, or my son, was 3 years old, and I left him with my mother. and I couldn't cope with that. I didn't know how to deal with that. That was really painful for me. And at that time, like the block still existed in Salt Lake City, and everybody fucking knew you could get it there.
But
It wasn't like it was too easy. It was too easy for someone like me. It was like, you're fucking joking, like
Oh
this is
yeah, it was
yeah,
the prime spot. That was it.
yep. Yeah, so I found myself there, not by accident, like totally on purpose. And I could when once I found that and I was able to witness like how other women, men, but specifically like women that were, this is gonna sound so fucked up, but like women that were like attractive, right? Like they were able to get literally whatever they wanted. And in my mind, in that moment, I was like, well, I'm not bad looking. And so fuck it. Fuck it. All of my morals, all of my values, everything went out the window. And what was more important to me is like I had to have the heroin, I had to have the cocaine, like I had to have this. And like selling my body in that moment meant nothing to me. It meant nothing to me, right? It
Yeah.
wasn't like this fucking moral dilemma of like, oh my God, like this is so sacred. Like none of that existed for me in that moment. I had no fucking problem selling myself. No problem. It was like not even a sacrifice at that time in my life. And then with that, like I mean, you guys can, but a lot of people cannot comprehend how easy it is to get into a situation where you're about to be raped, you are getting raped, right? Like terrible things happen to you as a result of that. And yeah, that was like I don't know that there was like this big prominent threshold for me. It was like this slow bleed of like I can do what I want and get what I want, and I actually don't have to fight as hard as other people to get the things that I want because it's easy, right? I didn't have any fucking morals attached to it. And also like people wanted it. People wanted it. I found streets to walk. Never had to deal with like getting pimped out because I was like, oh, I'm just like an independent fucking prostitute. Yay. You know, um, and there were a lot of men that wanted to protect me at that time. Like I feel like I got along with everyone pretty well and stuff until um I think there were other women that caught on to that aspect of it and they didn't like me for those things, and I found myself in hotel rooms with women almost beating me to death, or people blocking me in hotel rooms and literally almost beating me till I was dead. And that's something that's been coming up a lot for me lately too, is like those memories, is I feel like my brain is like this fucking hallway of never ending like little cute boxes that have been put away, and that my brain's put it all away to protect me. And like now that I'm a little bit safer, it's like, hey, let's pull that out. And I'm flooded with
that time.
yeah, it's a bad time. I'm flooded with these memories that are crippling. They're crippling. I'm remembering times when I couldn't get out of the hotel room because people wouldn't allow me to, or even that stuff with my ex-boyfriend on the streets that almost took my life, and what that felt like, and waking up from being almost beaten to death and crawling around the corner downtown at the block and getting heroin, with my whole entire face black and blue and bleeding all down myself. And and what's fucked up is that there's a lot of people in this world that make fun of like prostitution and things like that, and they forget, right? People forget that it's just a way to survive. It's the fucking oldest business in the world. Like, honestly, like grow the fuck up. There's nothing necessarily wrong and immoral with those kind of things, but as a result of me feeling nothing in those situations, I feel everything now. Like I feel
Oh
everything
yeah.
probably too much.
I do think I every guru or somebody that deals with trauma, they'll be like, you need to read the book, The Body Keeps Score, right? And I'm always the one, it's not my body that keeps score, it's my brain. It's like up here. Like my body, like I'm doing pretty good for my age. You know what I mean? My body is not like it's not doing all that weird shit that people say that, but like my brain, you're right. Like it is very tricky and deceitful and very unpredictable, and those memories and those responses really come at odd times, right? Like it could be like I have really intrusive thoughts, right? Like you'd be driving down the road and like you could just see everyone dying on the freeway. You know what I mean? And so sometimes like that's trauma, right? You can be driving down the road and all of a sudden you see your whole life from like a third person view and you're like, what? It's hard, right? Like it's hard to breathe in those moments and remember those times and to identify with that person, right? Because you're talking about being numb and using and like, no fucks and like this is just survival. But when you see it from a third party of your own life, it's like you see the wounded little girl, right? You see the wounded girl. No one helped, no one heard you, no one like holding you in a room compared to like trying to help you get out of it. Like all of those things are fucking real as fuck,
Yeah.
right? And it is cutthroat out there at some point, right? Like it is, and I think we've been on both sides. Like I've been on both sides, right? Like where I've had the street mom and the older ladies, because when I was out there I was younger, that like they took me in, right? Like it was like took her in, whatever. Or you start to get their behavior being like, that girl's trying to take your money, and you're okay, yeah, we're now it's a little fucking more, you know what I mean? Like you are now, it's so crazy to think about, right? Like just that cutthroat lifestyle. Um, and then, but it's, you can remember those times when you were surrounded by that community for a long time, but then you remember that time when you decided to walk the corner when no one was there, right? And how broken, getting in another car, not getting paid, maybe this person even beating you, or maybe taking you somewhere really unsafe, right? Like just those times, like you can, that lifestyle is just very, it's hard to like look at it, I think. And I think as trauma, it's just hard when you start to heal, because not all, you can't just heal everything all the time, right? Like it just can't be like, oh, you showed up to recovery and every fucking thing is, I mean, some people do, don't get me wrong.
Like I'm
There's some people
pretty
that show up here and fucking don't have, like, for 20 years, they're still talking about how great and lovely and like, not a care in the world, posting every fucking thing on social media, and that they don't have fucking one thing wrong with them. You know what I mean? And I'm like, really? Like that's okay, but like
serious.
some
That feels
of us, we're
dishonest.
fucking trying to drive down the road and fucking crumbling, right? Like we're about ready to kill someone when we get home. I fucking have a list, like you know what I mean? Like it's so weird, the trauma responses, but it's just incredible to know. I mean, just hearing you talk, and I've known you for, I mean, I've known you through this process, and like, I'm really grateful, but just those emotions, just the bravery, like, and one, like, you're alive, right? Like that's some of those beatings, even the way you talk about it, like a lot of women don't survive those, right? And we're well aware, right? We've seen that most, like, the percentage of women that die in the US are from violence, right? Like it's not heart diseases, it's not, you know what I mean, car accidents, it's literally from violence. And so, whatever plan or, universe or whatever you believe in, like that's pretty, like it's pretty cool. What makes you think that what was that time that said, like, what made you stay in recovery the last time?
Let's
It's not
see.
like you probably didn't try to go a couple of times, right?
Right. So let's see. Like I went, oh my God, I went to Odyssey House for like
Oh,
11
look at you.
residential. Yeah.
Okay.
I stayed off the drugs and shit for like 9 months after that,
Were
Hell
but
you part of
yeah.
the sweeps down there?
huh?
Were you part of the sweeps down there?
Yeah,
The
so I was still in it a little bit, but pulling back at that time.
Because you what, have 7?
Just over 6, like 6.5
Oh
now.
yeah, so you were down there when they did the.
Yeah,
Rio Grande,
Rio Grande project.
the Rio Grande
I
operation. Yeah.
what was the other word they had? The first one. It was the diversion, right? Wasn't it the diversion
Oh, maybe.
first? And
The
then that didn't work,
diversion.
right? Like that,
It's
and then they
fucking
went in
hilarious.
all $60 million in a Rio Grande
Lock 'em
celebration.
up.
Do you think it's
Fuck the
ridiculous though, if you think about it, like the people still exist that were there? The people still, what were you gonna do? Fucking exterminate them like fucking Hitler? Bro, like
they
the people
didn't
still exist. You know where they went? Everywhere else, bro.
they
Oh,
didn't realize
Everywhere.
they actually lived there.
Yeah,
Like, even when they let them out of jail, they went right back. Like,
yeah.
that was the life they chose.
do you want to know what's crazy about that? And we'll get back to yours, but if you think about $60 million, right? If
They
you
all
would
could
have
have had a
gave
house.
each person down there almost their own case manager and $50,000, like you would have spent less money even giving those people their own personal case manager and 50,000 to invest in your life, right? Regardless, get them apartment, get them in substance, like literally, like, and if you go down in the areas that I do street outreach, those people that were part of that are still out there.
They
Mhm.
are. They
They have
are.
not gone far. Like
Yeah.
it's crazy to think. But
Yeah.
tell it what good for you about Odyssey. I'm gonna give you I give you a
I
little
can't believe
I'm gonna give you a
graduate.
fist pump and who knows who's watching this? It could be people from different states and worlds and all that, but like
It's
look
just
up
my
Odyssey
mom.
House.
Yeah. And I was there when it was like a 2.5 year program. Okay, so I knew I wasn't gonna fucking make it. I knew I wasn't gonna make it. Like it wasn't gonna
Oh,
happen.
wait. Did you graduate?
No, dude, I got referred out because they said I needed to be at an all-female facility, and they weren't wrong. They
Oh
weren't
no,
wrong.
that's great.
At
Because
that
I
time
know
in my life, I had like, yeah, like you know what I mean? It's so fucked up when you think about it because I'm like, in my mind, like I run your house because the clients do run a lot of that stuff. So I
yeah.
can fuck whoever I want to, right? Like that's not real. That's not like that's not responsible and stuff.
It's real on the streets though. The shit we have to unlearn, you know,
Mhm.
all the things we did to survive those beatings and why we're the miracle ones walking around or whatever the hell they say. Like what we had to learn to survive all of that is fucking useless when you're trying to get back into college and like, you know what I mean, crashing out on professors and shit. This is it takes time, right? The unlearning takes time.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm messier than others. It's fine.
Is that when you went to St. George? Did they refer you out to St. George?
No, I didn't. I so in my sex working days, I found Craigslist, right? Like we all
Mm.
do eventually at that time. And yeah, I started actually dating the tricks. Like I actually
Oh yeah.
started dating them and then was dating a guy. And I always say it's like it's interesting to be in a relationship with you when you bought me first, you know, like but I'm still like engaged in that relationship at that time and yeah, near probably the last 18 months of my addiction, I began using the needle and I was overdosing all the time. Like, I am not a person like, again, no one taught me how to measure, how to whatever, right? And I overdosed in a 5 times in a 3 month period, and I was finally like, I'm done. I need help. I am most certainly going to die. And that was the first time, believe it or not, in 18 years of using where I actually knew like I am not going to make it. Before then, I
Right.
always believed like I'm fucking gonna like this ain't gonna take me out. Like, no way. No way. I'm a star child. I am not gonna die. And then I started dying and I was like, oh fuck. You know, and I had a friend who his name is Daniel. I'm always going to be grateful for him. He's always going to mean everything to me. He was working at I used to use with him and he was working at a treatment facility and found me like in Iron County Jail, like in the middle of fucking nowhere and was like, "Hey, there's a way out." And I took it. I took the way out, you know?
That's pretty amazing. And you haven't no relapses since then.
No.
It's incredible. And it's interesting now, like it's a lot different out there, right? Like, um, I'm like, maybe I should turn on this light in here. I am getting blurry, but who gives a fuck, dude? This is like the first
I
couple
don't
of
even
months.
think you can get heroin on the streets anymore. You know what I mean? Like
Well,
that's a
yeah,
luxury. It's not even a
it,
thing.
Yeah, and you're right. Like and there is another, I do need to say this, there is another thing too, not only with women, but like chemical and like low tolerance. Like some women are just like, I mean, we have so many overdosing at a time right now, and fentanyl is like the fentanyl crisis is unbelievable. And and people would be shocked if, like, it's Utah and it's totally this night. We're like naive and none of that stuff happens here. And it's like, oh, it's happening, right?
It's fucking
And
happening.
that's kind of our thing too, is that we're trying to create this podcast to have more stories of Utah and giving people platforms. Like, you two have had some really incredible people in your life that offered you platforms, right? Like, even if it's podcasts or even the gala, or maybe you've had survivors come up before you that are like, hey, you do have a story and you got to start identifying with it, because we have a hard time identifying with that word, right? Exploitation, trafficking, sex work, prostitution, whatever you want to call it, right? But like, um, but a lot of people will not have that opportunity, right? And they're still very shameful, still don't want people to know about it. They still are very scared that anybody even knows, or they don't even want to say that person's name because it is too much or can put them in liability. There is some sick stuff, right? And some of those people, like even a little bit of your story, but like those men are still running women today. You know
My
what
God,
I
I
mean?
was just thinking that. Remember that one time I went on outreach with you and we like got to talking about the specifics of my ex that almost took my life or whatever, and you're like, you're fucking serious right now? Like, I deal with this person every week, and that, like, that stuff really, it breaks my heart. It's like this person has only ever been arrested for drugs, maybe guns or whatever, but never been charged with what he's done to women. That's insane
No.
to me.
And
That's,
really has never done time
no.
for even the other shit, right? Like there's a weird system out there. Me and Amber have talked a lot about this, and we shared a little bit on the last one too, like how corrupt the system is
Mm.
with like that. And what's
Everything.
crazy and what's heartbreaking is all of a sudden now, because of this, two officers being killed because of this domestic violence call, now they want to up the lap assessment. They want to do all these things. And it's like these women have been screaming for help for years, right? And 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 it is, and so it's like it's almost like something really traumatic has to happen before change, right? And that's such a corrupt system, because that's how women don't get out, right? Like women just don't get out. And because
Right.
it's
And like they're afraid to tell the truth and report. I never reported that. I never reported that because you know what would have happened to me? I probably would have died, right? Like this is a very violent like gang member, like all these different things probably would have died. But if I didn't die, everybody around me wouldn't sell me drugs. Nobody would fucking protect me. Nobody would fucking, you know what I mean? I would be fucking shunned. And at that time in my life, like I would do anything to protect my resources for drugs.
right.
Do you know what I
You
mean?
are
And
correct.
community.
That is still mentality out there,
Mhm.
right? Like even the girls that get in the cars with tricks that we meet, and like we see him a couple of hours later or the next day, and they come up and say that, hey, I just got sexually assaulted. And it's like, do you want to call the police? And it's almost like no, because they still need to have that ecosystem moving around, right? That ecosystem. And it's heartbreaking because their demeanor's different, their attitudes even like very like they're and I'm like, "Do you wanna, like, tell me what the car looked like so I can inform other women not to get in this same type of car?" Because obviously, or it's like even as far as, like, they get ballsier, buyers get ballsier, right? Like, buyers, like, all of a sudden now it's like she's got in the car with him 4 times, so now it's volunteering, right? And so that 5th time when he's like, "I wanna do it anal," right? Or whatever, and she's like, "Absolutely fucking no." And
Mhm.
he takes it anyways, right? So now it's the 5th time, and the women are afraid because they've already gotten the car 4 other times, took the money, had the exchange, you know what I mean? And so it's such a crazy ecosystem out there, much less after it's over and happens, like, they feel very powerless, but at the same time, they just like, if someone sees me call the cops, then I am targeted after that.
Right. There's no way out of it. And I think like, maybe in other people's minds they probably would think when I say something like that, like, well, why didn't you just stop using drugs? Do you know what I mean? Like, okay, but I had been through so fucking much trauma and violence and like I made my fucking home out there and like sure I'll just stop using drugs because I can see that this is the problem. That's not the problem. That's not the problem. The problem isn't
Hey,
the
mine's
fucking
getting
drug.
I'm just gonna stop you. Mine's getting so dark because I am outside. I am gonna go take my camera off, but I'm still here.
Okay,
Don't
okay.
fucking leave me out because I'm fucking still here.
Yeah,
No,
it's
Chante,
not
you're 100% right. You, this is this is a the text messages leading up to the assault all say, for a long period of time that we may have been participating in very illegal activity when it comes to sex work, drugs, other assaults taking place in the neighborhood, right? Like, so as these things, these memories come back and you're doing all this work for our community and for yourself and your family, like every hour of the day seems to be eaten up by service to others and self-care. So tell me, what long-term recovery for you and being out of the game, how do you deal with it when it does pop up? Like when you do have the bad weeks or when another trauma comes, because I mean, we've been out for a while, but
inevitable.
yeah, we've been out for a minute, but Earth keeps earthing. So tell me what
And
what's your thing?
the other way, evil keeps eviling, right?
Mm,
Never ending. I have an amazing therapist that I've been working with for almost 5 years now. I get emotional when I talk about her because she's my fucking person, and
Oh,
um
that's awesome.
she's really good with like hearing me, understanding me, like never felt judged by her. We work through it. Right now we're working on ART, which is accelerated resolution therapy. It works for me, so like I'm really excited about those things. What usually happens is I I'm really good at noticing it. I'm really good at being like something's really wrong, and if it becomes crippling, like that's a problem, right? I cry in the shower, all the different things that we do as people like dealing with complex trauma and things like that. Um, but I don't disconnect. That is like my main goal every time something comes up for me or a new trauma presents it, whatever, like I don't disconnect because I know for me, the moment that I disconnect, like I'm fucked. I am fucked. Now I can hold all my own secrets and I can put up walls and I can push everybody away. And at that point, like I'm gone. There's no possible way that I'm gonna stay if I've disconnected from everybody that cares for me. So I'm really good at telling on myself. I'm really fucking good at telling on myself today, you know? I think one of the most difficult things that I've ever been through, like I lost my mother like right before, probably like a year and a half before I got into recovery, maybe almost 2 years, but I had never experienced loss without using drugs. And
mm,
when my brother died from fentanyl poisoning just over 2 years ago, and I forced myself, I had to feel everything, I couldn't disconnect and things like that. I realized in that moment, like, oh my God, um, I actually can cope. I actually fucking know how to cope today. It's not that I can't ever use again, it's that I don't have to. I don't
Right.
have to. Like heroin and cocaine, like those helped me destroy my life. Like I can never return to those substances. I have a very hyper awareness of that. Um, you know, but losing someone and being on the other side of that, and I mean, I went and found him in Portland too. Like, I don't know if you've ever been to Portland or if anyone's ever been to Portland, but it's the most beautiful and tragic thing I've ever witnessed in my life because, you know, I've seen the block downtown, like in the
Mm.
heart of it, and I've never seen anything like downtown Portland.
Man,
It's
open
really
consumption.
traumatic.
Yeah.
And I went and I found him. It's like finding a needle in a needle stack, right? Me and one of my dearest friends, like, we found him in a weekend and he didn't want to come home with me. And then a year later, he died alone in his, you know, standard fucking sober living apartment, whatever. Um, yeah, and from that moment, from that fucking moment, I knew that like people have to be loved. They have to be believed. They have to be supported. It doesn't matter. Like, you have to take all of your expectations out of it and just love them for wherever the fuck they're at because I didn't always do that with my brother. I didn't always do that. And I regret it, you know? And like to die alone is in that kind of setting and not be found for a week, like that, it makes it's just it drops me. It drops me even to this day. But realizing that like I can live for him and I can live for people that have lost their lives. And I do that simply by like staying, staying, you know, like staying right here and like connecting and not disconnecting. And those are like the most important things to me today.
It's really cool too because what in a couple of days it's the International Overdose Awareness Day. And it's really cool to have that piece, right? Like and I will tell you some of the girls that we've lost out there from overdose, like it just it's heartbreaking. Like there's like a different emotion through all the things they've been through, the beatings, the the all of that and how much they've used and they've been out there for years and the tolerance and then just that you just never know that one hit, right? Like it's just
And there's a lot of people that like still to this day, like you can't overdose it when you smoke it. That's not fucking true. That's not
Are
true.
they saying that?
Yeah, there's
Wait,
still
do people say
there's
that?
still people these days that are just like, no, I'm not gonna overdose because I'm smoking it. And I'm just like, are you fucking I was like, are you are you high? The answer is yes.
Yeah, yeah. Huh.
The answer is
Huh.
yes. Yay.
Huh.
You know, but like, you know, I don't think there's enough fucking education about it. I really don't. I really
Mm.
don't.
there's some really I do believe there's some really cool stuff that's gonna happen. And you're right. And I'm gonna tell you right now, like I don't know if I could be educated enough with what's going on, right? Like, we go out there and 1 week everybody is just full blown withdrawal because the blue pills are garbage, right? Like nobody can get high and it causes agitation, violence, desperation, like excessive trying to get high, like just all of these things. And then you go out the next week and people are off the wall, right? Like fentanyl
Mm.
powder just came in. Everybody's getting high. One hit, people are dropping, like people were dropping in front of us. People were administering naloxone all the time on our outreach. We're getting so many reversals. And then the next week you're going out there and everybody can't even get high again, right? Like it's just garbage. And then, so it's so hard to be educated or to combat it at this point. Like, our only option is to flood so many high impacted areas with naloxone or Narcan. That is our only, like, that is, and educating people, right? Like, enough being like, hey, maybe go a little slower, use less at a time, don't walk off and use alone, right? Like, um, and it's so hard, but it is scary to think that you think you have this licked and then you don't.
Right.
Like it's so
Can't imagine.
unpredictable.
I can't imagine. Like, I know I always say this, like, by the grace of God, like, I got out right in time because I 100% would be dead today. You know, I
Oh
would,
yeah.
no fucking doubt in my mind.
Oh, I'd be
It
using
is
that.
sad to be on the other side of this. And I tell people this all the time, like, there's like a really, really raw healing that happens when you get to stand on the other side. on the other side of it now and witness people that maybe you love, or just witness people like and trying to help him and save him and all these things. Like, I remember going to Portland looking for my brother, walking through the camps, walking through fields of syringes, and like dropping to my knees and being like, "Oh my God, I know how my mother felt." Like there's it, but it's healing. There's a part of us that's healing by being able to witness that, even though it's so tragic. Because now we get to truly understand, like, we're capable of showing up for these people and helping these people, in the moment that they're at.
Yeah, I think it's a really good honor, and and Amber talked about Tiffany, and I think that this is a great podcast for this coming up, right? Like the loss, and for me, I have a lot, but there's some that rock me, right? Like there's um and I'll just say Z because I don't want to, like, first off, I want to respect her family and stuff, but just how, you know what I mean? Just dying like that and being 5 months pregnant, and her sister dying 6 months before that, and that family losing 2 daughters and a grandbaby all within, like, a year because of drug u like, I wasn't even there, and just being called and, like, the panic and, like, like, thinking of her being in that, bathroom found alone is just, and she fought, dude, like, she fought, right? Like, she really fought to get out, and that baby was kinda giving her some light, but it's just amazing that one thing that can get you to take that one more hit. Like, I'm in recovery, I'm doing well, I have this boyfriend, I'm pregnant, I wanna have a baby. I'm even gonna name it after my sister if I have a girl, and then something happens and you take that one last hit, and, like, it's just devastating, right? And you're right, I can't imagine, like, her parents or the parents that we call or the phone call that they get from the police officers or the mortuary or whatever, the morgue, like, just, and how many that have been called, like, it's just, honoring those people are important because that could be any of us any day.
True.
Any of us, right?
So,
Like, that's just, we're not exempt, you know?
Yeah.
All right,
true.
shall we, how are you feeling? You were starting to get a little weird about, like, what do you want to talk about? And, like, you need to give me direction. I'm like, what the fuck, dude? You're being weird. You're making me and Amber uncomfortable because we just want to get you
We're
on
just
the
gonna talk shit. We're just gonna talk shit and some stuff.
I love it. I love it. I just didn't know. I was like, is there like a topic or
Oh,
like a
yeah. There is one thing that we're gonna do, and I don't know if Amber has it, but we are gonna try to expose, not
I have it.
expose, but, like, let people know what's going on in Utah. Like, cases that are happening or that kinda don't make the mainstream, or people or the mainstream stuff. So I do know Amber has that going.
I love that.
Yes. And we have to be really careful on like the doxing thing because I can get carried away.
Mm.
So, coming to you from abc4.com. Okay. Or a man released on bond after being charged with 41 felonies involving child sexual assault material. Here we go. An Orem man accused of possessing and sharing child sexual abuse material has posted bond and is out of jail. Documents say he received multiple letters of support prior to his bail hearing.
That's so disgusting.
Richard Kirkland Millard, 44 years old, was charged on July 21st, 2025, with 9 counts of aggravated sexual exploitation of a minor, a first-degree felony, and 32 counts of sexual exploitation of a minor, a second-degree felony. Initially, Mallard was being held without bail. Duh. After a detention hearing on August 10th that amended his bail order to $10,000 cash or bond, Mallard posted August 14th.
And he has no priors, and he's just a good dude in our community.
And I bet he's got a lot of letters from his leaders in his community. Listen, here we go. Here's the stipulations. The defendant shall have a private GPS ankle monitor installed, shall not leave the state of Utah, shall not have access to the internet, Shall not possess or have access to any sexually stimulating materials. Cannot have contact with anyone under the age of 18. Shall stay away 50 feet away from minors. And a psychosexual evaluation. Why the fuck are we risking our children for this man's ankle monitor? I don't
And
get it.
and then tell me how the fuck they're gonna make sure all that stuff doesn't have no access to the internet. How are you going to monitor that? How? Explain to me what kind of resources that you have that's going to make that fucking possible. So all it is verbiage, right? To try and appease the people. Like I'm a strong believer like justice does not exist. I think justice is an illusion. I don't care what the fucking situation is, right? Tell me how you're going to monitor that.
This is my favorite part, though. May not have any contact with individuals under the age of 18, with an exception, his own children.
Hmm.
And it's
So
so heartbreaking because there's enough evidence that there was a case and brought with no bail, right?
these
So
these cops hand delivered a fucking predator right to this judge. Hand delivered. Easy, done, wrapped up and done. And somehow I think some very influential people got involved. What do these letters look like? First of all, and I can't wait to like look into who the judge is because this is fucking unacceptable, you guys. It's fucking unacceptable. Nobody in Orem wants this man in their community except for probably his ward.
Yeah, that's insane to me.
oh yeah, or the excuse of he just has a problem, he has a sex addiction, he just needs to go back and find God. No,
They were
no.
only AI images. They were fake kids. Yeah. No, it's not an excuse. This is why it's a hard no. It's a hard no. No. Time out. Time out. We're gonna circle back on this one, you guys. So can't wait to tell you what I find.
I love it. That's yeah, Amber, that's her little thing. She's like, we're exposing people.
Do it.
Mhm.
That's well, it's not even that. It's just like letting people know that like we're getting normalizing and getting so tolerant of this behavior that no
Mhm.
action is happening. It is I am telling you right now, getting on the news or and things on Facebook that pop up that are news articles, like constantly this is happening. This is like every week someone in some authority position or higher up like doing this, doing that, exploitation of minor. Like it is starting to be so much that people are just shutting it out because they just like it's so
Listen,
normalized here in Utah. It's fucking gross.
it's the sexual repression is starting to shine its ugly little fucking head on this generation. And if they don't get a grip on it, the church will fall. And nobody's gonna let that happen. So we should talk about it. Um wait, I was gonna say something. It felt so fucking important. What? I guess it's not. Oh, yes, no. Oh, because there's so many fucking perverts and I can't stay on social media all day long. We have created a hashtag. It's hashtag do better Utah. So I can look if you see shady ass elites in this state or any of this fucky ass pervert shit, please hashtag it for me so I can read the article.
Just do better, Utah.
Do better Utah. Yeah.
Yeah. And honestly, like this is why, like survivors, whether they're children, teenagers, adults, doesn't matter, men, women, doesn't matter. This is why people will not come forward or they'll continue to fucking stay silenced, is because they already know. They already know. Like, there's no help for me. There's no real help for me, right? And then judges will say, "Oh, my hands are tied. This is only so much within the law and stuff like that." Well, that just sure says a
Yeah.
lot about America. That sure
I
says
had
a lot about America.
I had 4 letters of recommendation for this guy. What are you talking about? He's a fantastic citizen. What the
Honestly,
fuck?
probably AI created, just like his porn.
Yeah, and then what's sad is that it's happening so much in Utah because the prosecution rate is so small.
Low.
So why wouldn't you?
Right.
Why wouldn't you? Like that's the crazy part about it is our prosecution and until they start removing low-end drug users and drug dealer like and get them out of the system and start filling them full of predators, like that's what our system should be about. Right.
I know the predators are too close to everyone's family in this state is my fear. But we could, I mean, Colorado, they're trying to fill up some system. All I'm saying is we could fill them up. We could fill up every bed in Colorado with
For
just the perverts in Utah.
Yeah,
Yeah, they
it's
probably know
heartbreaking.
they're gonna get away with it. That's the thing, right?
Yeah.
Like I can, like do all of this funky shit and fucking, exploit, rape, fucking all the different things, like sell, child sell, like all these things, and I will not get as much time as someone who distributes drugs.
Nope.
Do you know what I mean?
It's
This is where
so
we're at.
disgusting and corrupt. All right,
Utah.
let's end this. Chante, if you have a message for a girl out there or someone that might listen to this podcast, me and Amber were like, we're hoping for the two that listen to this.
My mom will listen.
But we actually had more than that the last time. I was like, hey, we actually have subscribers and stuff. So we always say the two that might watch this, but we believe that it will touch more. Like if you have a message for even a girl that's still in the life that might get this, or someone that's been out of the life for a long time and it's just a struggle to like land just to feel safe anywhere, what kind of message do you have for them?
Hmm. I guess. I always want to start with like you're more capable than you know.
Yeah.
Um, and also like you have to create your own safety. You have to create your own safety, and get involved with people who are safe so that you can, create that within yourself. I'm probably broken because I'm just like, none of us are safe, yay. But truthfully, like I created that safety within myself, so no matter what, I'm gonna be okay. And I also really strongly believe that people aren't aware of how much they matter, you know? And we build like self-esteem by doing esteemable things, and esteemable things aren't that hard to do, you know? So I hope that people will learn their worth and what they're capable of, and be able to create that safety within themselves. That's
Yeah.
it.
And that
Oh,
there's us
so good.
being a voice. So reach out. We do have spaces, right? Like we do have spaces for women to go that anybody can access regardless what state where they're at. They just got to reach out. And so, um, I guess that's a really good message is that you're not alone, right? Like, and our voice does matter, right?
Right.
We really appreciate you being the first guest. Thanks for being
I
in the
could
mess with us. Like
Yeah, dude.
we're definitely we're winging it. And we're gonna just continue to do this and figure this out and have more women on there and really men, males, survivors, whatever, and really try to just make this podcast something really cool.
I love it. I love you guys. So grateful for you and honored to be in it with you guys, and honored to be in the mess. I don't give a fuck, you know?
Yeah.
love you to death. I couldn't think of anyone better. Like to kick this fucking thing off,
Yeah.
Yeah, we need the real ones. We're gonna let the ugly out for sure.
Do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You guys, I love you. You're beautiful. And we are signing out.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.